Welcome Wanderers to Told You Wood Colors. My name is Jennifer and today I am going to be coloring a page utilizing Amanda Colors hashtag palette. Her hashtag is AC Palette Challenge, and for the month of July her palette comes from Sarah Renee Clark's Color Cube number 2, card number 416. And I really do enjoy this palette. It's super fun and refreshing, especially for the summertime. I did go ahead and come up with my own colors for this just to make sure I have a good blend going. So I already tried it out over here to make sure my colors would blend somewhat cohesively as I'm coloring, and I like the way that it turned out. So the colors that I chose for this palette was all in Ohuhu alcohol markers. I have R19, I have G120, G8, PB10, PB9, and PB11. Now this is their, I guess now, old color code system, since they're coming out with a new one, or already did come out with a new one. These are the old codes, just to clarify. So along with this hashtag, I found a page that I'm hoping to bring to life for Jamie's hashtag, hashtag coloring the movies 2025, and for the month of July her movie is Lord of the Rings. So I have a picture in mind. This is the page that I want to color. It's a Kameliya Angelkova page. I'm going to move this to the side. So this page is out of 50 Spellbound Aquatic Scenes to color by Kameliya Angelkova. And I picked this page here. And my thought process behind this was in Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. It's the third movie in the trilogy. I don't know the technical names and terms, but they have to go to ghost pirates and try to get them on their side to help fight in this big end scene battle. So it's a stretch, it's a long stretch, but here are my pirate ghosts from Return of the King. So this is what I'm using, and I think the color palette is going to be perfect because in the movie they're all like green glowing ghosts. So I can put a picture up for reference. I'm gonna put a little warning out there. It's spooky, gross ghost looking, so maybe close your eyes. I'm gonna pop the picture up just for reference so that you know what I'm going for. All right, now I'm taking it down. You can open your eyes again. So anyway, so that's the idea that I'm going for, and I thought it was a pretty neat idea, and I'm really excited to do this. So I have my colors picked out, and before I just go in with my colors, I did pre-plan an idea of where I want everything to go to try to make it look nice, since the color palette is very similar. So you have to be careful with where you put your colors, or some things are going to just look like they're mushing together or hiding because of you have a whole bunch of similar colors. And I have already thought about a couple ways that I want to do this, and I'm thinking I'll put this over here, I suppose, so that you guys can get an idea. I'm thinking of having this dark color be the main dark background color, and then having all the other brighter greens pop off the page with the scene itself. So this darker color is definitely going to be used heavily in the background. I'm thinking about halfway up, I'm going to use this dark color and then slowly blend a little bit lighter going up towards the back. But as far as the background goes, I do want that to be very dark, like it's sunken in, and then I want the image to pop out using the brighter greens that I pulled. So let's see if we can bring this to life. And I'm going to be as verbal with you as possible on what colors I'm using at the time, so that if you by chance wanted to color along with me, you could follow along easily. So, all right, I'm sitting down. Actually, let me see if I should zoom in a little bit. We'll do that. And we'll get started. I have about a half hour of coloring time before I have to get ready for work this morning. So hopefully I'm able to get this done. So I am going to start with the background here. I'm going to use PB11 and I'm going to blend PB9 into that going up. And then at the very top, I think I'm going to stop with PB10. So just these three colors in the background, the darkest three. And like I said, with PB11, I'm going to go about halfway up the background. And then I'm going to blend these two colors in on top of it. So, yeah. All right, so let's dive in. Oh my gosh, we need our backer sheet. You ever watch somebody and they start to color without the backer sheet and you're just screaming at the TV, put your backer sheet on, and then they realize it a little bit later and you're like, yes, thank you. I do that. All right, so I'm just gonna start in here. I am a little bit nervous about how dark the dark is and how similar all the colors are, but I have a vision, I have a plan, and hopefully we can bring that to life. I think the best thing about the darker alcohol markers is that they show less of a streak. So at least we got that going for us. But yeah, I don't know what made me. I think as soon as I saw this page, I just thought of that Lord of the Rings scene. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I know it's such a stretch. I get that. But it's just what popped into my head. So I'm going to try not to move this too much because I know that you guys are fairly zoomed in here. And yeah, so we're just straight coloring with PB11 on the background, having a good old time. For me, it is, what is it? Thursday. Don't ask me what day. I think it's July 10th, maybe? Somewhere around there. And it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. I figured I could get this page colored before I go to work today. And I've been wanting to do this, but my voice has been so squeaky. All right, you got to be careful in this area because the mast is there. And you don't want to color the pole. Sometimes before you start to color, you have to remove yourself from being hyper focused and really realize what's happening on the picture. I am going to color these windows into the dark blue. Get that in there. Oh. There. And then, see, that's how I start my pages. I usually do the sections where it's blocked off so I know I can color it quick. Now it comes to the blending part. At least here for this section is all open to the top. So I know I'm going to have to blend fairly fast with that section. And even here in this little middle section, I would want to blend with the middle color a little bit towards the top of this area. And I think I'm safe to color this straight. I just really want to think about how I want my blend line to look. And we can even do like a little curve, maybe. I don't know if it's best to do half and then blend in a straight line, or maybe we can give it a little curve to follow the line of the boat. Maybe we'll do that because the line of the boat is curving. So maybe I want my blend line to curve as well to keep that movement. Yeah, I think I like that idea. So it's gonna start with PB11 up here, and then it's gonna come down, and maybe we can just bring it up higher over here. And then blend. All right, let's do that. So, and this is just a net, so I can color behind that. So this is like my whole entire thought process. And I know it's not going to be the best blend. I'm still practicing my blends, but that's the only thing you can do. If you know you're not as good with something, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it and trying it. You can't just give up and say, well, I'm not good at that, so we're not doing that again. I don't think that's good for your brain and learning. You're not always going to pick something up right away. Well, maybe that's a little too low. Oh yeah. We'll bring it up a little bit higher as we go this way. Yeah, you just got to keep practicing. You really got to keep at it. Hey, I know I'm bad at blending, so I'm going to keep doing it until I get better. So I think my problem is it's just I don't know. I guess I don't know what my problem is. All right, I think I like that for a line, maybe a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. See, now I got that streak in there because everything's drying and I'm so indecisive. So, yeah. It must be so horrible to follow a color along with me. What's she doing now? I'm always changing my mind. I just want it to look a certain way. And you gotta play around with it sometimes to get that look. So we're gonna go even higher here. Oh, that's really high. Maybe we can dip it back down again. I don't know. So this whole section, we're just gonna color this. Okay. And then we're gonna grab PB9 and get in there. And I just realized I missed this opening now, too. And when I blend, it's probably not the best way, but I just really smush the colors together. And then I try to feather it out, but I don't know how good I am at that. So my part, like, I'm nervous because I know this section is gonna dry and it's gonna create a line and I don't want it to, but I gotta do the rest of this. That looks really nice so far. I like that. I really just really soak the colors together, especially on that divide line. Really just smush it together and then feather it down. This is my technique. This is how I do it. I always say this is not a how-to tutorial. This is how I do tutorial. So it's not always going to be right because I'm learning too. And now my markers are bleeding into the image. That's always fun. But we're not going to worry too much about that because you can't. And a little bit higher. Kids are downstairs right now, sibling bonding. They're watching Arthur, and I love it. I used to watch Arthur every morning before school. They're not in school right now because it's summertime, but every morning before school when I was a kid, I would watch Arthur. I loved that show. I watched it all the way through high school. I'm not even kidding. It's just such a wholesome, cute show. It just made me happy. So it's so cool to see your kids liking the same things that you did as a kid. I think that's really neat. So I just feel like this blend line is so harsh. So I still want to just play with it and see what happens. Then you got to feather back into here because this is all drying. And then I feel like it just gets to a point where it looks sloppy. Like for me. So I'm trying to learn how to not be sloppy. This is hard because this is such a little line to blend. I'm really liking the way it looks though, so far. I think that looks really neat. These colors so far. So these are the darker colors. And so I wanted to put them on the main portion of the background so that the lighter colors, like we're still gonna use these, but lightly, like shadow lines and stuff like that. Look, now I got a line. Ugh. All right. And we're just gonna tuck this over here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna mix it down here with this just to try to keep this line the same. I don't like how this looks darker than the bottom now, the way it blended together. So maybe, yeah, maybe I think I'm just gonna go over the whole entire thing because I really want this to be dark down here. So I'm just going to color right over the top of what we already did because I really want this to be dark. So we're just going to go in and do that. I feel like I'm being a little bit more sloppy than usual just because I'm pressed for time. If I didn't have somewhere to be, I think I'd be a little bit more careful. And at the same time, I feel like when I make coloring videos, I don't like to speed them up. I don't know why. Because I did figure out how to do that. At first, I just didn't know how to do it. But I did find out how to do it. But I don't know. It's just like coloring with a friend, I guess. I like following along with... I personally like to watch videos that are normal speed so that I can just sit there and follow along. Oops. All right. Well, we'll just color this whole thing. I like to do things the same way, so I would have come in with the PB11 first on this little piece here to keep things the same as how we did it before. But now I didn't, so I'll go back with PB9 and mix that together again. And that should be good. All right, so that's a nice mix. And then the next color that we have to blend into is the PB10. I'm looking at this and this section seems really big. So part of me wants to go back with the PB9 and raise that up a little bit higher, like to around this spot. But now I know I'm gonna have a line, so I don't know how to take care of that. Rough sauce. See, before I came in, we could have used like pencil lines to really block that out. But we didn't, and now we gotta deal with this. So I'm gonna go back in with PB9. I guess we're feather down, feather to try to eliminate that line, I suppose. And then I think I want to do the same as we did down here, a little swoopy line. So I'm going up a little bit higher on the edges, and then I'll swoop down towards the middle. Let's get this taken care of. And then go in here. I really haven't gotten a lot of time to color it all this month yet, which is so sad. I've been wanting to. I've just been so tired lately. Like, I'm definitely worn out and not feeling my best, but I'm okay. It's just every time I think about coloring, I'm like, the bed sounds a little bit nicer right now. I just want to lay down. So, yeah, July's been a slow start to coloring so far. This is, if we get this done before I have to go to work, this is actually going to be my first completed page for the month. And it's already the 10th. I'm pretty sure it's the 10th, and that's wild. All right, we'll scoop it up all the way to there. Yeah, this is just a little bit messier than what I prefer, but it is what it is. So feather. Oh, and I hit the ghost right in the head. The poor guy. That's all right. He's been through a lot. All right. So that's a little bit better. And now I feel comfortable going in with PB10, and we'll blend that into this. So let's see what we got. It's a stretch of a color. So that's why I didn't want too much of it showing at the top, because it really is different. We got blue, and this turns more green. Feather it down. I don't know. I'm trying to get better at the techniques, but I feel like my blending just looks a little messy. But then at the same time, when I see others, like if you really look up close, I think that's the kicker in coloring. When you see pictures, or if you're looking at something on the video, one, if they don't point out certain things, you're never gonna see it. So it looks amazing until you really point out the flaws that you know are there. And then half the time you're like, oh, that's not even a big deal anyway. So I feel like that's kind of how it is with blending with the alcohol markers. It's like, oh, well, if you really look at it up close, yeah, it looks a little messy and weird. But if you don't pay attention to it too much, it's okay, kind of a thing. I don't know. All right, this is a bit green, but we're gonna make it work. Really want to soak in this part so that it blends as well as it can. But at the same time, I don't want streaks over here. So I gotta keep playing with this area while I'm blending this area. Just trying to keep things wet and moving. And again, I feel like that blend line is gonna get dark. So we might have to color over our middle section with this color too. That might be what we have to do. We will see what happens. I love working with alcohol markers. It's just so satisfying. It's I think it's my favorite thing to work with. It's just so fun. It's so satisfying. I like how fast you get a result or a completed page, because that is gratifying and satisfying as well. Feather, feather, feather. Do you know what I mean by feathering? I hope so, because I'm saying it a lot. Feather, feather, feather. I'm really trying to get rid of that line. Oh, and I hit the flag. I'm a mess. I'm going into everything. I do have confidence that this is going to look nice in the end. It just is messy right now. That's all. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to blend all the way down. I don't know. Because this section is just getting so dark. And it's like you just have to keep everything wet all the time. I don't know. I do like that though. Feather, feather, feather. Do I want to bring it all the way down to the blue? Maybe we have to make it look not so, I don't know. I guess here we go. I'm doing it. I've made the decision. Maybe I should have stopped. I should have finished over there first. I feel like that's going to get really messy looking. All the way to the right. All right. Feather, feather, feather. Feather, feather, feather. All right, so that doesn't look too shabby, I suppose. It really gives that Lord of the Rings feel. I just have that picture in mind, and I really want to tie into that for sure. Well, since I'm coloring for that hashtag, I want it to look like it belongs. I really like the look of that, yeah. I wonder if I ever, like, I feel like I get really excited about what I just did. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks awesome. And then everyone watching is like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so, Jen. It's like, oh yeah, I see the vision. It's working, it's coming together. I think it looks nice. We've got a little bit of a line here. Feather, feather, feather. All right. That should be the title of this video. Feather, feather, feather. And everybody would be like, what does that mean? What's she talking about? All right. We'll come down here. There. All right. This is looking nice. I like this. Again, it does look messy up close, but I'm sure from far away or your point of view, maybe, hopefully, it looks half decent. All right. I kind of do like the like blotchiness of it too. It's easy to have natural things look streaky and uneven and not the same. So this is underwater, so it makes sense for it to be blotchy and streaky and bubbly and weird. So yeah, I just think it adds depth and character to the image. So there's our background. What's our time looking like? Oh, it's almost time to go. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm like, oh, I can do this in a half hour, and it's like almost time to go. All right, so again, I'm thinking about doing the sand now. And with our darkest color, PB11, I'm just thinking of like outlining the bottom basically, and then building up our brighter layers. So I'm thinking of taking PB11, we'll put that with PB9, and I guess PB10, and this time we'll add G8. So we're gonna keep our build up smaller, a smaller scale, obviously, to fit. So we did 3 colors for the large background. Now we're gonna fit 4 colors in this small area. So you'll see how I'm gonna try to tie this together. I gotta envision it first. I gotta really think about how I want to do this. And I love how Kameliya adds these dots. I really use these dots as guidelines of how I'm gonna lay something down. So for example, I always lay my alcohol markers off to the side because of how you have to use them, like prepped on how I would grab them. So now I have all my brush tips facing the same direction, and I have them in the order that I'm going to use them. So I always prepare myself before I start a section. Ooh, are you still in frame? Yeah. So that I know when they're off to the side now and they're laying there, I can pick up the next one and I know my brush tip is going to be right there on the go. And I can work faster that way. So that's just another tip. So again, PB11, I'm going to go in, I'm going to use the dots on the page as guidelines of where these deep shadows should be. And you got to think about it too. I always tuck my deep shadows usually behind things. So we have this branch thing coming out. So our deep shadow is going to get tucked in that branch, and I'm following the dots on here. So we're going to bring this up, and maybe I'm not going to connect it all. We're going to tuck our deep shadow behind the ship. We're going to definitely put it around the bottom section. I want the top to be the brighter spot, once again, just like in the background. So we're going to follow this edge here, and I'm definitely being more sketchy with it. I'm definitely a sketchy person for sure. Because again, it's in nature, and nature's not perfect. It's beautiful, but it's not perfect. So you just got to keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes when things are too symmetrical on a color page as far as nature goes, I don't know. I don't really like that. There are so many imperfections out there, but in a beautiful way. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to tuck this, but I'm not going to connect it to our background. We're just going to go here, and I'm going to do a little shoo, 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 shoo. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing under here. This guy and this guy gets a little shadow. This guy gets a little shadow, and maybe we'll even put it up here too. And we'll drag it out a little bit. So there and there. Because this guy's going to be like a bright green, so having that dark around him is really going to make him pop too. So, all right, so that's decent enough. And then PB9 is our next color. We're gonna come in and just stack it up, and I'm really gonna try once again to blend these together. I'm gonna go over the entire top of what I just colored and really smush the colors together and follow those dotted guidelines from Kameliya's illustration. Oh, I went over the little sand dollar thing that's there. What are these? I know they're not sand dollars, but I don't know what they are. So we're gonna go over all the dots, We're gonna follow the dots. And we're gonna go over all those darker spots that we colored with PB11 as well, just so that everything everything remains cohesive. So there, there, here, here, dots are here, dots are here, all the dots, blend, 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 blend. I don't know how well that blend is gonna look, but I'm trying. And then we're gonna go over this one. There, like that. Okay, so yes, and then we're gonna do PB10, and I'm just gonna lightly do PB10. We're not gonna go crazy with PB10. We do have to go over our, what was it, PB9 once again. So here, we're just gonna go over it. So basically, we're just layering all the colors now. And I just want a little bit of the PB10 to show through because we still have that fourth color to add to the page. So we just want this to peek through. We're coloring over the areas that we did. Maybe we'll close that up. Again, I'm being pretty messy with this. Usually I'm a little bit more careful, but I gotta get to work. I definitely want that to have like the highlighted area for sure. All right, we'll go over all of this. We'll barely get to the edge of the scene here. Go over all this and just have it pop through a little bit. There. And then we're gonna go with the G8 and really highlight the edges of this, and hopefully everything looks good. Let's see how this all turns out. So I guess not too shabby. I think again we have to go over everything just to make sure it blends nicely together. That's pretty cool. So I'm literally coloring over everything. So as I built up every single color, I have colored over every bottom layer has been colored over top of with every single color. And it looks pretty awesome. I'm loving this. I really, really like this a lot. I'm having a lot of fun just playing with all those colors. So color over everything. There we go. Awesome. That looks so cool. I love that. All right. Just making sure you're still on the screen. I hope you're able to see. I don't know if my hand's been in the way, but that's all I can do right now. I'm probably just gonna have to piece videos together at this point because I gotta get going, but it'll be 2 seconds for you guys, but it'll probably be a couple days until I can get this done. Actually, you know what? I really want to do a little bit more, just a little bit more. R19, let's just do a little bit more R19, and I just want to do the sails and the flag. So we'll go in here. Oh, I wish I could just sit and play all day. Like, I would have so much fun. So I think with these, I'm going to try to color it fast, and then I'm going to try to get our lightest color, G120, and just see if I can give it a green glow. I'm using, once again, the guidelines from her illustration, and I'm going over the lines that she had at the top there. So this is our lightest green color in the palette that we have, just to give it like a little bit of a glow from everything that's going on around it. Yeah, that looks cool. So we're gonna play with these two colors. So I'm gonna do this one real quick. So I want this to stay wet. And sometimes I use the colors. If I colored over the line, sometimes I try to just push it off by just running that color over it a bunch of times. So sometimes it works. Sometimes it looks a little, sometimes it looks like I tried to fix something. So we'll bring this down and just using those guidelines from her to just get a little bit of a glow on these sails. I think that's fun. Feather, feather, feather. R19 again for the last one. And here's another spot. I just color over it a bunch of times to try to like push that out. Push it out of there. Because it's kind of like you can use almost any color as a colorless blender. The colorless blender definitely adds texture without adding any color. But you can do that with any color. And again with the G120. Just going over the lines that are already given to you on the page. So we'll go down. And there. Okay, there we go. That's so fun. Okay. That's where I leave it for now. Hey guys, I'm editing in this part just to mention that I decided to break this video up into parts since I didn't realize how long this first part took. So this is going to be part 1, and then I think the rest of it will either be part 2 or I'll have to break it up into a part 2, part 3. But I'm going to put them all up on YouTube at the same time so that if you are coloring along and you have the time, you can just go from video to video to complete the page with me. So look out for part 2, possibly a part 3 on this to get the page completed. Have a great and colorful day. Bye!